Sometimes life doesn't give you comfort. It doesn't give you a helping hand, a cheerleader, or a lucky break. Sometimes you'll find yourself alone, no money in your pocket, no one answering your calls, and no energy left to keep going. But that's exactly when greatness is born. Because the truth is, no one becomes strong when everything is easy. You grow when you're forced to fight. You evolve when you have no choice but to push through the darkness with nothing but your willpower. Shishida 1. There comes a point in every person's life where silence becomes their only companion and struggle becomes their only teacher. You wake up one morning and realize no one's coming to help you, no one's going to hand you your dream, and no one's going to walk that road for you. This is where the real journey begins. When you are left with nothing but yourself, you will question everything, you will doubt your ability, and you will feel the weight of loneliness pressing on your chest like an unshakable shadow. But that's the exact place where transformation is born. When everything and everyone fades, what's left is the truth, your truth. You'll find yourself broke, exhausted, confused, and maybe even broken, but those are the raw ingredients of greatness. Every champion you've ever admired once stood exactly where you are now, broke, tired, and alone. But they refused to stop. They refused to surrender to the noise of the world that told them they weren't enough. You see, life doesn't test you when you're comfortable. It tests you when you're desperate. When your back is against the wall, when the money runs out, when your friends disappear, and when no one believes in your dream but you, that's when the real you is born. The you that doesn't quit, the you that doesn't need approval, the you that creates something from nothing. Being alone isn't a curse, it's a forge. It burns away the weak parts of you and leaves behind steel. When you're forced to rely on your own strength, you discover how powerful you truly are. People who've never walked through fire will never understand your silence, your grind, or your hunger. They will judge you, they will doubt you, they will mock your progress. Let them. Their noise doesn't define your purpose. Every lonely night, every moment of exhaustion, every silent breakdown is building you. You are learning discipline, you are learning patience, you are learning self-belief. Not from books, but from survival. Doing it alone means you become your own motivator, your own guide, your own soldier. When you can stand tall with no applause, no attention, and no reward, you have unlocked a kind of strength that no one can take away. And yes, it's going to hurt. It's going to drain you. There will be nights when you cry out of frustration and mornings when you wonder if all this struggle is worth it. But that pain is proof that you're still in the fight. You're not done yet. You're still breathing, still pushing, still standing. The world will not hand you success out of sympathy. It will hand it to you out of respect. Respect for your consistency, your persistence, and your refusal to quit when others did. Every small step you take while no one's watching is building a story that will one day inspire thousands. Remember, this loneliness is not your enemy, it's your training ground. Fatigue is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of effort. And being broke doesn't mean you've failed. It means you're at the starting line of something extraordinary. Don't rush the process. Don't curse the struggle, use it. Let it harden your mind and sharpen your focus. You are not meant to be ordinary. You are meant to rise from the dust, carrying nothing but your willpower and your vision. There will come a time when the same people who doubted you will ask how you did it. You'll smile because you'll know. It wasn't luck. It wasn't privilege. It wasn't easy. It was you doing it alone, broke and tired, when no one else would. And that, right there, is where your greatness begins. Kaya 2, at some point, you have to face the hardest truth of all. Nobody is coming to save you. Not your friends, not your family, not the world, not fate. You are on your own. It's a truth that breaks many but builds the few who dare to accept it. Because once you realize that no one is responsible for your happiness, your success, or your future, you finally wake up. You stop waiting for permission, you stop begging for help, and you start moving with purpose. This is the chapter where excuses die and accountability is born. Most people waste years of their lives hoping that someone will show up and fix their problems. A mentor, a partner, a miracle, but no one's coming. And that's not cruelty, that's reality. The universe doesn't reward wishes, it rewards workers. The people you admire didn't get where they are because someone handed them a lifeline. They built their own. They learned to fight in silence, to grind in darkness, to bet on themselves when everyone else doubted them. Waiting for help is like standing still in a storm. It won't protect you. It will drown you. The sooner you accept that your life is your responsibility, the faster you'll move toward freedom. Because when you depend on others, you hand them your power. You say, "I can't until someone helps me." But when you decide that you will do it anyway, tired, broke, scared, and alone, that's when your power returns. Nobody's coming to rescue you from the mess you didn't create or the pain you didn't deserve. You have to climb out of it yourself. You have to learn how to pick yourself up after every fall, how to wipe your own tears, and how to keep walking when your legs are shaking. The truth is, every successful person has faced this same realization. They've been abandoned, rejected, and overlooked. But instead of feeling sorry for themselves, they turned that pain into drive. They stopped waiting and started doing. The world doesn't stop for your pain. It doesn't slow down for your exhaustion. You have to learn to keep moving even when your heart is breaking and your body is screaming for rest. You have to build discipline that doesn't depend on emotion. Because if you only work when you feel motivated, you'll never make it. Motivation fades, responsibility doesn't. You must make your growth your obligation, not your option. You must become the kind of person who shows up for themselves no matter how heavy life gets. Every time you pick yourself up, you become stronger, sharper, more unbreakable. People will call you cold or selfish for putting yourself first, but they won't understand that it's survival. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't help others if you haven't learned how to help yourself first. So build your strength in private. Read, practice, grow, and fail forward. Stop blaming people for not supporting you. It's not their job to believe in your dream. It's yours. You were not born to be saved. You were born to be strong. The world doesn't give you what you ask for. It gives you what you earn through consistency, courage, and faith. So stop looking for the easy way, the shortcut, the hero to save you. Be your own hero. You owe it to yourself to rise. You owe it to your future to keep fighting. You owe it to your dreams to stop waiting and start creating. Every time you take one small step toward your goal, even when no one notices, you are proving to yourself that you never needed rescuing. You only needed awakening. Remember this forever. Nobody's coming to save you, because you were never meant to be saved. You were meant to save yourself. That realization is not the end of hope. It's the beginning of power. When you stop waiting for help and start becoming the help, you transform your life from the ground up. That's when you stop being a victim of circumstance and become the author of your destiny. And from that moment on, you'll never look back, because you'll finally understand that you've always been the one. Shape TER3. There is a strange, powerful beauty in being broke. A beauty that most people overlook because they're too busy trying to escape it instead of learning from it. Being broke strips you down to your essence. It removes the comfort, the distractions, and the illusions, leaving only your truth, your hunger, and your will to survive. When you have no money, you learn what really matters. You stop chasing appearances and start chasing purpose. You begin to understand the value of every small win, every opportunity, every moment of progress. Being broke teaches you humility. It reminds you that no one is above starting from the bottom. It humbles your ego but strengthens your spirit. When you can't buy your way out of problems, you're forced to think, to innovate, to build. You learn to create something out of nothing, to stretch every resource, to make every second count. The broke version of you is the most creative version of you because necessity becomes your greatest teacher. When you're broke, you don't have the luxury to waste time. You can't afford laziness. And that's why you grow. You discover that comfort has been your biggest enemy all along. You realize that the world doesn't owe you anything and no one's coming to make it easy. But that realization doesn't destroy you. It wakes you up. It lights a fire inside you that says, if I'm ever going to have more, I have to become more. Being broke gives you vision. It forces you to dream beyond your circumstances. It teaches you to appreciate small things, like a meal, a roof, a moment of peace. Because you know what it's like to have none of it. It builds gratitude deep inside your heart, the kind of gratitude that money can never buy. You start to respect the grind because you understand what survival feels like. And in that survival mode, you build discipline. You wake up early not because you want to, but because you have to. You push harder not because it's easy, but because there's no other choice. Every day becomes a battle between who you are and who you want to be. And slowly, you start becoming that person. Being broke doesn't mean being powerless. It means being at the foundation of your comeback story. Every great success has a chapter that starts with nothing. That's how all empires begin, in hunger, in silence, in struggle. The pain of being broke is the very fuel that will drive you to never feel that pain again. It becomes the voice in your head that says, keep going, don't stop, prove them wrong. The truth is, being broke builds character in ways that success never will. Success can make you forget who you are. Being broke reminds you of what you're capable of. It teaches resilience, patience, and the ability to keep your faith when nothing seems to work. It teaches you that wealth is not measured by what you have, but by what you can survive. Some people see being broke as failure. The wise see it as preparation. You are being prepared for the weight of success, for the discipline that abundance will demand. You can't appreciate sunlight if you've never known darkness, and you can't handle wealth if you've never learned the grind. So if you're broke, don't run from it, learn from it. Use every struggle as motivation. Use every rejection as redirection. Let the hunger in your belly remind you that you're alive, that you still have a chance, that your story isn't over. Being broke gives you perspective, clarity, and hunger, 3 things the comfortable never have. One day when you rise, you'll look back and thank this season. You'll realize that it wasn't punishment, it was preparation. The days you struggled to eat, the nights you couldn't sleep, the moments you doubted yourself, those were the days that built the version of you strong enough to handle everything you prayed for. So, embrace the grind, respect the struggle, find the beauty in being broke, because this is not your ending. It's the training ground for your beginning. Chapter 4. Silence is one of the most powerful tools you will ever learn to master. Yet it's the one most people run from because it exposes them to themselves. In silence, there are no distractions, no validation, no applause, only truth. And truth is uncomfortable. When you walk this journey of doing it alone, broke and tired, silence becomes your greatest ally, not your enemy. It's in those quiet moments when no one is watching that real growth begins. You start to hear your thoughts clearly, you start to recognize your fears, and you start to understand what truly drives you. Most people can't handle silence because it demands accountability. It shows you exactly where you stand, no filters, no excuses. But the ones who can embrace it, who can learn to work and grow in silence, become unstoppable. Silence doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing everything without announcing it. It means building when no one believes in you, practicing when no one is clapping, and fighting battles that no one will ever know you fought. It's where your focus sharpens, where your resilience grows roots. When you keep quiet about your dreams, you protect them from the doubt and negativity of others. The world doesn't need to know what you're doing, it only needs to see the results. Let your actions speak volumes while your mouth stays shut. Every moment you spend explaining your goals is a moment taken away from achieving them. The loudest person in the room is rarely the one doing the most. It's the quiet one, the observer, the grinder, who surprises everyone with what they become. Silence gives you power because it teaches you to listen, not just to others but to yourself, to the world, to the lessons hidden in every failure and every delay. When you stop talking, you start hearing opportunity. When you stop trying to impress, you start to progress. The reason so many people never reach their potential is because they spend their energy talking about success instead of earning it. They want recognition before they've done the work, but that's not how greatness is built. Greatness grows in quiet rooms, in late nights, in long hours, in isolation. It grows when you shut out the noise of the world and focus on your purpose. Silence teaches discipline, and discipline builds empires. Every time you choose to stay quiet instead of reacting, you're practicing control. Every time you choose to work instead of speak, you're building momentum. Silence also reveals who's truly in your corner. When you stop sharing every move, you'll see who sticks around when there's nothing to gain from you. Real ones stay curious, the fake ones disappear. And that's a gift because silence clears your path of distractions. It filters out the noise so you can focus on your vision. You don't need the world's validation. You need your own belief. Silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. The lion doesn't roar before the hunt. It moves quietly, patiently, and strikes only when it's time. Be that lion. Move in silence, plan in silence, work in silence, and let your results do the talking. Because when the time comes, the roar of your success will be loud enough to silence every doubt that was ever thrown at you. There is a certain peace that comes from not needing to explain yourself. You stop chasing approval, and you start attracting respect. You stop competing, and you start creating. You stop being distracted by the noise of others, and you begin to hear the sound of your own evolution. Remember, silence is not emptiness, it's full of answers. It's not loneliness, it's alignment. It's where you find your focus, your power, your purpose. So guard your silence like treasure. Use it to build, to heal, to grow. Because when you learn to master silence, you master yourself. And once you master yourself, no one can touch you. Chapter 5. There will be days when your body aches, your eyes burn, and your spirit feels drained, yet you'll still have to keep moving, because that's what the relentless do. You'll reach points where exhaustion becomes your shadow, where every step feels like a war, and where the weight of your dreams seems too heavy to carry. But this is where the difference between the average and the extraordinary is born. Everyone feels tired. The strong simply refuse to stop. Being tired doesn't mean you're weak. It means you've been fighting. It means you've been giving. It means you've been putting in the work that most people avoid. The truth is, no great story was ever written by someone who quit halfway because they were tired. The ones who make history are those who kept going when everything inside them screamed to stop. Fatigue is not your enemy, it's your test. It asks you, how much do you really want this? It challenges your excuses, it exposes your limits, and it demands your discipline. When motivation fades, discipline must take over. Motivation is a feeling, discipline is a decision. And when you are tired, that decision matters more than ever. You have to train your mind to lead when your body wants to surrender. Every moment you push through exhaustion, you're teaching yourself that comfort isn't your master. You're reminding yourself that nothing worth having will ever come easy. The world doesn't reward those who start strong. It rewards those who finish even when they're crawling to the end. There will be nights when you can't sleep because your mind is haunted by everything you still need to do. Mornings when you wake up and wonder if it's all worth it. And afternoons where you sit in silence trying to summon the strength to keep going. And in those moments, you must remind yourself why you began. You didn't come this far to only come this far. You didn't sacrifice your peace, your time, and your comfort to give up because you're tired. You owe it to the person you used to be, the one who dreamed of this life, to keep pushing forward. Being tired is not a sign of defeat. It's proof that you're in the arena, fighting for something that matters. You must understand that rest and quitting are not the same thing. Rest when you must, but don't you dare stop. Take a breath, gather yourself, and get back to the fight. The relentless ones know how to recover while they're still moving. They know that the world doesn't pause for their exhaustion. They know that the price of success is paid in sweat, fatigue, and sleepless nights. Every tear you shed, every hour you sacrifice, every ounce of energy you pour into your dream, it's all building something that will one day make sense. You can't see it now, but your persistence is planting seeds beneath the surface. Keep watering them. Keep going even when it feels like nothing's happening. Progress often hides behind the face of fatigue. You're not stuck, you're building. You're not lost, you're learning endurance. The tired version of you is stronger than the rested version because it has already proven it can keep going under pressure. Every step you take while tired counts more than 1,000 steps taken when things were easy. Those are the steps that define character. You have to learn to love the grind, the long hours, the quiet sacrifice, the feeling of pushing through when no one else would. That's where champions are made. The greatest victories don't come from bursts of energy. They come from the quiet, steady persistence of someone who refuses to quit. So yes, you will be tired, you will be drained, you will question yourself 100 times, but you must also be relentless. Keep going until your tiredness becomes strength, until your weakness turns into power, until your struggle becomes your story. Because when the world finally sees you rise, they'll think it was talent, but you'll know it was persistence. You'll know it was those nights you kept going, tired but relentless. CXTR6 pain is the purest, most honest force in the world. It strips away everything false and leaves you face to face with who you really are. You can't hide from it, you can't fake your way through it, and you can't avoid it forever. But you can transform it. You can take the sharp edges of pain and turn them into the blade that shapes your strength. Every great transformation in history began with pain. Every person who rose from the ashes first had to burn. Pain is not there to punish you, it's there to prepare you. It shows up to teach you the lessons that comfort never could. It tests your patience, your resilience, your courage, and your faith. It asks you one question: will you break or will you build? When life throws you into chaos, when your heart shatters and your plans collapse, that's not the end, that's the forge. The fire that feels like it's destroying you is actually molding you into something unshakable. The people who rise the highest are the ones who learned how to use pain as fuel, not as an excuse. Pain can either paralyze you or propel you. The choice is always yours. Most people run from pain, numb it, or blame it on others, but the strong sit with it, they listen to it, they learn from it, they use it. Because pain holds information. It tells you what matters, what needs healing, what needs change. It's a mirror reflecting where your growth must happen. When you stop fighting your pain and start facing it, it loses its power to control you. You begin to realize that everything you thought was meant to destroy you was actually designed to awaken you. That heartbreak was meant to teach you self-worth. That failure was meant to build your resilience. That betrayal was meant to show you that your power comes from within, not from the approval of others. Pain doesn't come to make you bitter, it comes to make you better. But you have to decide which one you'll become. You can either let pain define you, or let it refine you. You can either let it keep you down, or let it push you forward. Every tear you've cried, every disappointment you've endured, every sleepless night you've suffered, it all has value if you turn it into wisdom. Pain gives you depth, it gives you empathy, it gives you the strength to understand others, to lead, to rise above. The most powerful people you'll ever meet are not the ones who had it easy. They are the ones who learned to smile through storms, who kept their faith when everything fell apart, who found purpose inside their suffering. They discovered that pain was never their enemy. Weakness was. Pain was just the teacher that showed them how strong they really were. When you start using pain as motivation, you stop fearing it. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start saying, "Try me." You turn your wounds into wisdom and your struggles into strategy. That's how warriors are built, not in peace, but in battle. You have to bleed a little to understand what winning feels like. You have to lose a few times to understand what you're fighting for. Pain reminds you that you're still alive, still capable, still becoming. It's proof that you haven't given up. So the next time life hurts, don't run, breathe, sit with it. Ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? Then take that lesson and move with it. Channel your pain into your work, your art, your discipline, your growth. Let it fuel you instead of fool you. One day, you'll look back and realize that the moments that hurt the most were the same moments that transformed you the deepest. You'll see that pain was never your curse, it was your calling. It made you stronger, wiser, more unbreakable. So don't hide your scars. They're proof that you survived what was meant to destroy you. They're the signature of your strength. You turned pain into power, and that's something no one can ever take away from you. Chapter 7. Silence is not weakness, it's discipline. It's not emptiness, it's energy under control. When you learn to move in silence, you begin to understand the power of restraint, the strength of calm, and the clarity that only quiet can bring. Most people speak too soon, reveal too much, and waste their power trying to prove who they are. But those who walk in silence hold a different kind of strength. A strength that doesn't need validation, a confidence that doesn't need applause. Silence protects your plans, your energy, and your peace. It gives you space to think clearly, to move strategically, and to act without interference. When you speak too much about what you're going to do, you invite noise, doubt, and distraction into your vision. But when you move quietly, no one can predict your next step. You become unpredictable, unstoppable, and unshakable. People start wondering what you're up to, but they'll never know until it's too late. Until your results speak louder than any words ever could. The truth is, silence isn't about being antisocial, it's about being intentional. It's about choosing not to waste your breath on those who won't understand your purpose. It's about guarding your dreams from people who only see limits, not possibilities. Silence is how you protect your energy from negativity, from gossip, from comparison. It's how you stay grounded in a world that's always trying to pull you into chaos. When you stop explaining yourself, you free yourself. You realize you don't owe anyone an explanation for your grind, your choices, or your timing. You don't have to announce every move you make, because real power doesn't perform, it produces. Let your success make the noise. Let your work speak for you. Let your growth show through your actions, not your words. The loudest person in the room is often the most insecure one, but the quiet one, the one who observes, listens, and plans, that's the one who wins. Silence teaches patience. It teaches self-control. It teaches you how to listen, not just to others, but to your own intuition. Because in the stillness you start hearing the truth. You start seeing the patterns. You start understanding what truly matters. The world is filled with people who talk big but do little. Don't be one of them. Be the one who does big and says little. Every moment you spend defending your dream to small minds is a moment you could have spent building it. Every word you waste trying to prove your worth is energy you could have used to elevate yourself. So be silent but not idle. Be quiet but not still. Let your silence be strategic. Let it be your armor and your weapon. Because when you move in silence, you control the narrative. No one can sabotage what they don't know. No one can block what they can't see coming. No one can interfere with a plan they never heard about. That's why the strongest people rarely reveal their next move. They just show up with results. They understand that silence creates mystery, and mystery creates power. Your silence forces people to respect your boundaries, to question your strength, to feel your presence without you having to say a word. So, learn to be comfortable with quiet. Learn to love solitude, because silence is not the absence of sound, it's the presence of power. It's where your thoughts sharpen, your focus deepens, and your inner voice grows louder than the noise of the world. Don't rush to share your progress. Protect it until it's strong enough to speak for itself. Don't rush to defend your vision. Nurture it until it becomes undeniable. Speak less, do more, listen more, react less. In the silence, you become unstoppable, because while everyone else is busy talking, you're busy transforming. And when it's time to reveal what you've been building in the dark, the world will have no choice but to listen. Because silence may not make a sound, but its impact can echo louder than thunder. Chapter 8. No one is coming to save you, and the sooner you accept that truth, the sooner you take back your power. It sounds harsh, but it's freedom disguised as reality. No one owes you rescue. No one is responsible for your dreams, your pain, or your progress. The world doesn't stop for your struggle, and no one is losing sleep over the opportunities you didn't take. You are the only one who can pull yourself out of the pit you're in. Waiting for someone to fix your life is like waiting for rain in a drought. It's never coming. The longer you wait for help, the weaker you become. You have to wake up and realize that your life is your responsibility. Your mindset, your habits, your actions, they all belong to you. Blaming others, crying over unfair situations, or expecting someone to notice your pain won't change anything. Life rewards action, not complaints. You might be tired, broke, and alone, but that's exactly when your true self is born. Pressure creates diamonds, and struggle builds soldiers. When you finally stop expecting someone to carry you, you learn how to stand. When you stop waiting for permission, you learn how to create your own opportunities. The truth is, nobody is thinking about your dreams like you are. Nobody feels your hunger like you do. Nobody will ever believe in your vision more than you. So stop giving people the responsibility of building something they can't even see. You can pray, hope, and dream, but until you move, nothing changes. Faith without action is just fantasy. You've got to fight for your future, even when it feels like the world has turned its back on you. That loneliness you feel, that's your power calling you to rise. That exhaustion, it's proof that you're still pushing. You don't need saving, you need strategy. You need grit. You need to stop waiting for a miracle and start becoming one. Every successful person you admire had a moment when no one believed in them, when no one offered help, when no one showed up, and they kept going anyway. They didn't wait to be discovered. They built themselves in silence. They failed, they fell, they cried, but they didn't quit. They saved themselves. Because the truth is, the moment you take full ownership of your life, the game changes. You stop being a victim and become the hero of your story. You realize that your pain isn't punishment, it's preparation. You understand that your circumstances are not your cage, they're your training ground. You don't need more support. You need more self-belief. You don't need validation. You need commitment. Life will not hand you success because you wish for it. You earn it through discipline, consistency, and courage. You'll have to work when you're tired, believe when you're broke, and build when you're alone. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it, because every time you push through without help, you become more dangerous. You become unbreakable. You become the kind of person no storm can destroy. The truth is, no one can live your dream for you. No one can fight your battles or heal your wounds. But you can. You can rise from nothing. You can start where you are, with what you have, and build something great. You can become the person you once wished would come to save you. That's real power. Turning your struggle into strength, your pain into purpose, your isolation into independence. The world doesn't need another person waiting to be saved. It needs more people brave enough to save themselves. So stop waiting for someone to come and change your story. Grab the pen and write it yourself. No one's coming to fix your life, because you were never meant to be rescued, you were meant to rise. And once you understand that, once you decide to take full control, the world will no longer intimidate you, because you'll finally realize that everything you need has been inside you all along. Tyr 9 Loneliness is not your enemy, it's your mirror, your teacher, and your greatest opportunity for growth. In a world obsessed with constant connection and validation, being alone feels uncomfortable, even painful. But the truth is, loneliness is the birthplace of strength, self-awareness, and independence. When the noise fades and the people disappear, you're left with the only person who truly matters, yourself. That's where the real work begins. Loneliness strips away the illusions of companionship and forces you to face who you really are without distraction. It asks you to look at your insecurities, your fears, your unhealed wounds, not to punish you, but to purify you. Because until you can be comfortable alone, you'll always seek validation from others. You'll chase attention, affection, and approval just to fill a void that only self-love can heal. Loneliness gives you the space to build that love. It's in the quiet moments, when no one's watching, that you discover your voice, your vision, and your power. People often run from loneliness, filling it with noise, entertainment, or relationships that drain them, but the ones who embrace it learn how to master themselves. They turn solitude into strength. They stop needing to be seen and start focusing on becoming someone worth seeing. When you're alone, there's no one to impress, no mask to wear, no judgment to fear. That's where your authenticity blooms. You start to realize that solitude isn't emptiness, it's freedom. It's a sacred space where you can think clearly, feel deeply, and grow quietly. Greatness is born in isolation. Every creator, thinker, and leader who changed the world had to walk a lonely path first. They had to sit with their doubts, face rejection, and work in silence while the world ignored them. Loneliness is not the absence of love. It's the presence of becoming. It's the stage where you build yourself for the life you're meant to live. Because when you learn to love your own company, you become unstoppable. No betrayal can break you, no absence can weaken you, no rejection can define you. You realize that you don't need a crowd to feel complete. You are enough as you are. But to reach that point, you must endure the discomfort of being alone without trying to escape it. Sit with it, feel it, let it mold you. That ache in your chest is not a punishment, it's an invitation to grow. Use your solitude to reflect, to build discipline, to sharpen your mind. Read, learn, pray, write, plan. Turn your loneliness into productivity. Because when you come out of that season, you'll be different, stronger, quieter, wiser. You'll no longer beg for attention because you'll have learned how to give yourself everything you once sought from others. And that's the kind of power that can't be taken from you. People will come and go, but your relationship with yourself is forever. Protect it, nurture it, build it. The moment you find peace in solitude is the moment you become truly free. You stop chasing love and start attracting it. You stop fearing abandonment because you've built a home within yourself. You stop settling for less because you know your worth. Loneliness is not a curse, it's a catalyst. It's the process of separation that leads to elevation. Everyone wants success, but few are willing to walk through the lonely path it requires. The nights when you feel forgotten are the nights that forge your resilience. The days when no one supports you are the days that shape your independence. Embrace them. Because when you finally step into the light, you'll realize that your solitude was never about isolation. It was about preparation. You had to be alone to learn how to stand. You had to be ignored to learn how to move without applause. You had to be lonely to realize that you never needed saving, only understanding. So don't run from loneliness, master it. Let it build you, guide you, and strengthen you. Because once you learn how to walk alone, you'll never fear losing anyone again, and that's the kind of peace no one can take away. Chapter 10. Greatness has a price, and most people aren't willing to pay it. Everyone wants success, respect, and recognition, but very few are willing to go through the pain, the isolation, and the sacrifice that greatness demands. You don't become great by accident. You become great by choice, by discipline, by refusing to settle for mediocrity when comfort whispers in your ear. The price of greatness isn't just hard work, it's consistency when no one is watching, focus when distractions are loud, and faith when progress is invisible. It's waking up before the sun, working while others sleep, and pushing forward when your mind tells you to quit. It's saying no to temporary pleasures so you can say yes to lasting fulfillment. It's losing friends who don't understand your grind, missing out on parties, ignoring opinions, and walking alone when everyone else chooses the crowd. Greatness requires you to give up who you were to become who you were meant to be. You'll have to sacrifice your comfort zone, your excuses, and your need for approval. You'll have to face rejection, failure, and self-doubt, not once, but over and over again, until your resilience becomes stronger than your fear. The truth is, greatness doesn't come with applause. It comes with silence, struggle, and self-discipline. It's built in the shadows, far away from validation, by those who are willing to work when no one cares. You can't fake greatness. It's carved into your character through adversity, the nights you cried, the mornings you pushed through exhaustion, the times you wanted to quit but didn't. Those are the payments. Every setback is a fee, every failure a tax, every sacrifice a down payment on your dream. The price is heavy, but the reward is priceless, because once you earn it, no one can take it from you. People will envy your success, but never understand what it cost you. They'll see the glory, but not the grind, the result, but not the resilience. They won't see the times you had to encourage yourself when no one else did, or the nights you worked through tears, or the doubts you had to silence just to keep going. Greatness is lonely because not everyone can handle the weight of the journey. Most people stop when it gets hard. The great ones start there. Most people complain about the climb. The great ones love the mountain. Most people want rewards without risks. The great ones risk everything for purpose. To be great, you have to become obsessed with your mission. You have to think differently, move differently, and be willing to do what 99% won't. You'll have to build when no one believes, improve when no one notices, and trust yourself when everyone doubts you. The price of greatness is isolation, because few will understand your hunger. It's doubt, because you'll question yourself every step of the way. It's pressure, because the higher you rise, the heavier the responsibility. But that pressure is what turns you from average into extraordinary. You can't expect greatness while living with the habits of the mediocre. You can't rise to excellence while clinging to comfort. You can't create a legacy without discipline, sacrifice, and an unbreakable will. You have to pay now to play later. You have to give up ease to earn excellence. So when it gets tough, don't ask, why me? Ask, is this the price I'm willing to pay? Because greatness demands everything: your focus, your time, your energy, your patience, your persistence. But it gives you everything in return: freedom, purpose, legacy, and self-respect. The price of greatness isn't paid in money, it's paid in moments when you choose growth over comfort, purpose over pleasure, and consistency over excuses. So if you want greatness, prepare to sacrifice, prepare to be misunderstood, prepare to be tested, but most of all, prepare to be transformed. Because once you've paid the price, once you've endured the grind and stood tall through the storm, you won't just be great, you'll be unstoppable. Chapter 11. The moment you think you've made it is the moment you start to fall. Success is not a destination, it's a continuous climb, and the only way to keep rising is to stay hungry and stay humble. Hunger keeps you chasing, and humility keeps you grounded. One without the other is dangerous. Hunger without humility breeds arrogance, and humility without hunger leads to stagnation. True greatness lies in balancing both. Stay hungry enough to keep pushing for more, but humble enough to remember where you came from. No matter how far you go, never forget the days you prayed for the life you have now. The struggle that shaped you, the pain that built you, and the lessons that molded you. Those are your roots. Never look down on anyone who hasn't reached your level yet, because at one point you were there too. Staying humble doesn't mean thinking less of yourself. It means thinking of yourself less. It means knowing your worth without needing to prove it. It means letting your work speak louder than your words. A hungry soul is always learning, always improving, always reaching for better. Hunger keeps your fire alive when comfort tries to dim it. It makes you wake up early, stay up late, and do more than what's required. It reminds you that there's always another level, another goal, another mountain to climb. The truly great never get satisfied. They stay curious, they stay driven, and they stay disciplined. They know that success is rented, not owned, and rent is due every single day. You can't live off yesterday's achievements. You can't rely on old victories to win new battles. Every day is a chance to prove yourself again, not to the world, but to yourself. Hunger is what pushes you to grow beyond your limits. It's the voice inside that says, you can do more. But humility is what reminds you to be grateful for every step. It teaches you that no matter how high you rise, life can humble you in a second. It reminds you that every win is a gift, every opportunity is borrowed time, and every person you meet can teach you something. The combination of hunger and humility creates unstoppable momentum. You push forward with fire, but you move with grace. You fight hard but treat others with respect. You win big but never forget to thank those who helped you along the way. The loudest in the room rarely last, the humble and hungry endure. Because while arrogance blinds you, humility sharpens your vision. The hungry stay focused because they know there's always more work to do. The humble stay teachable because they know they don't have all the answers. Together, they create the perfect mindset for longevity. Staying hungry keeps you climbing. Staying humble keeps you from falling. You'll face people who doubt you, who envy you, who try to pull you down. But if you stay grounded, none of that will shake you. You'll learn that real success isn't about being better than others. It's about being better than who you were yesterday. Hunger fuels ambition, but humility fuels character. The world doesn't just need successful people, it needs people who succeed with integrity. So when success comes, don't let it change your essence. Keep working like you're still broke. Keep learning like you know nothing. Keep showing up like no one's watching. That's how legends are built, through consistent effort and quiet confidence. The minute you start thinking you're too good to learn, you've already started to decline. The minute you stop being hungry for growth, your fire begins to fade. But if you stay humble enough to keep learning and hungry enough to keep striving, there's no limit to what you can achieve. Greatness isn't about how loud you roar, it's about how long you can keep going with gratitude in your heart and fire in your soul. So, no matter where life takes you, remember, stay hungry, stay humble, and never forget the climb that made you who you are. See Chapter 12. Motivation is temporary, discipline is forever. Motivation gets you started, but discipline keeps you going when the excitement fades, when the results are slow, and when no one is cheering you on. The truth is, motivation is like a spark, bright but brief, while discipline is the steady flame that burns through storms, exhaustion, and doubt. Too many people wait to feel motivated before they act, and that's why they never reach their potential. You cannot rely on feelings to build your future because feelings are fragile. Some days you'll wake up inspired, but most days you won't. And that's where discipline steps in. Discipline doesn't care about your mood, it only cares about your mission. It's the voice that says, do it anyway. It's waking up early when your bed is warm. It's hitting the gym when your body aches. It's working on your dream after a long day when your mind says, rest. Discipline is doing what's right even when it's not convenient. It's the quiet force that separates winners from wishers. Everyone wants success, but not everyone wants to do what success demands. The discipline don't wait for perfect conditions. They create progress in imperfect situations. They understand that consistency beats intensity. Showing up every day beats working hard once in a while. Discipline is the bridge between goals and achievement, between dreams and reality. Motivation may make you move, but discipline makes you unstoppable. When you train yourself to act regardless of emotion, you gain control over your destiny. You stop being a slave to laziness, excuses, and distractions. You become the kind of person who does what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. That's power. Not the power of strength, but the power of self-mastery. Discipline is freedom disguised as control. When you control your habits stop controlling you. When you master your time stops slipping away. When you stick to your standards, life begins to reward you in ways that motivation never could. Motivation fades when you face failure, but discipline adapts. Motivation dies when results are slow, but discipline stays patient. Motivation gives up when it gets hard, but discipline gets harder. You don't need to be motivated to change your life. You need to be disciplined enough to do the boring, repetitive, unglamorous work that growth requires. The truth is, success is not built on inspiration, it's built on repetition. You become great not because you did something once with excitement, but because you did it daily with commitment. Discipline is waking up to reality, that success doesn't care about how you feel, only about what you do. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you strengthen your willpower. Every time you push through resistance, you build mental toughness. Every time you stay consistent, even when it hurts, you're proving to yourself that you can be trusted with your goals. And once you trust yourself, nothing can stop you, because when discipline becomes your lifestyle, results become inevitable. Motivation may make you move once, but discipline makes you move forever. Think of the greats, athletes, creators, leaders. They weren't always motivated, but they were always disciplined. They practiced when no one watched, studied when no one cared, and worked when everyone else rested. That's what built their legacy. So stop waiting for motivation to find you. It won't. You have to build habits that carry you even when inspiration dies. You have to be willing to grind in silence, to repeat the same small actions daily until they turn into greatness. Discipline doesn't give instant satisfaction, but it gives permanent results. It's not about feeling good, it's about doing good. You'll find that once you start living with discipline, motivation naturally follows, because action breeds momentum. And when you're consistent long enough, success becomes not just possible, but inevitable. So stop chasing motivation like a drug and start cultivating discipline like a lifestyle. Discipline is the difference between wanting and winning, between dreaming and doing, between existing and evolving. Build it, live it, and let it carry you to the life you've always wanted. Because in the end, motivation fades, but discipline never dies. Chapter 13. Struggle is not a punishment, it's the process of becoming. Every great person you admire has walked through darkness, faced doubt, and carried the heavy weight of uncertainty. The struggle is not meant to break you, it's meant to build you. It's where your character is tested, your patience is stretched, and your strength is proven. Most people run from struggle because they see it as failure, but those who rise see it as training. The struggle is your teacher, harsh, honest, and necessary. It strips away comfort and reveals your true self. It's easy to have faith when life feels good, but real faith is built when nothing makes sense, and you keep going anyway. Every time you struggle, you're being shaped for something greater. The pain you feel today is preparing you for the purpose that's waiting tomorrow. You can't expect growth without growing pains. You can't expect strength without resistance. The moments that hurt the most are often the ones that define you. You'll want to quit. You'll wonder why it has to be so hard. you'll question if it's worth it. And that's when you have to remind yourself, nothing valuable comes easy. Diamonds are created under pressure, muscles grow from tension, and warriors are forged in battle. Struggle is not your enemy, it's your path to greatness. Embrace it, don't escape it. Every obstacle is an opportunity in disguise, an invitation to rise higher, to dig deeper, to prove to yourself that you're stronger than your circumstances. The people who achieve the impossible are not the ones who avoided struggle, they are the ones who leaned into it, who saw it as a part of the journey rather than a detour. Life will challenge you. It will push you to your limits, and sometimes it will feel like everything is falling apart. But that's when transformation happens. The struggle refines you, it humbles you, it teaches you to appreciate success because you earned it through blood, sweat, and tears. When you stop seeing struggle as suffering and start seeing it as shaping, everything changes. You stop feeling like a victim and start acting like a warrior. You realize that your struggles are not roadblocks but stepping stones. They are molding you into the version of yourself that can handle the blessings you're praying for. Every storm you survive makes you stronger, wiser, and more unshakable. Don't pray for an easier life, pray for the strength to overcome a hard one. Because the truth is, ease never taught you anything, but struggle taught you everything. It taught you resilience, patience, humility, and gratitude. It taught you that no matter how dark it gets, the light inside you can never be extinguished. The struggle introduces you to your limits, but more importantly, it shows you that you can go beyond them. Most people give up when it gets hard, but the ones who keep going discover a different kind of power, the power that comes from endurance. The ability to smile through pain, to rise after failure, to believe when hope seems gone. That's what separates the strong from the average. The struggle will demand your best, but it will also reveal your best. It will test your commitment, your patience, and your purpose. It will break your pride and build your perseverance. It will make you question everything, but it will also give you answers you couldn't find in comfort. So when life gets heavy, don't curse the struggle, thank it. Because one day you'll look back and realize it was never trying to destroy you, it was trying to prepare you. The struggle made you disciplined, it made you focused, it made you grateful. Without it you would have stayed soft, complacent, and ordinary. But through it you became stronger, sharper, and wiser. You became someone who doesn't flinch when life gets tough. You became someone who doesn't just survive, but thrives under pressure. The struggle isn't there to stop you. It's there to sculpt you into someone unstoppable. Embrace it, because the moment you do, you stop fighting against life and start flowing with it. And that's when you become dangerous. When you no longer fear the struggle but welcome it, knowing that every challenge is simply the world's way of sharpening your greatness. Chapter 14. The most powerful moves are made in silence because true builders understand that progress doesn't need an audience, it needs focus. When you're building something meaningful, whether it's a dream, a business, a mindset, or a new version of yourself, the noise of the world becomes your biggest distraction. Everyone wants to be seen working, but few want to do the work unseen. Real growth happens in private, in the long, lonely hours when no one is clapping for you, when no one believes in you, and when no one even knows what you're working toward. That's where your foundation is built. Silence gives you strength, because it keeps you focused on the mission instead of the opinions. The more you talk, the more energy you waste explaining yourself to people who will never understand your vision. The less you say, the more time you have to refine your craft. Building in silence means you don't announce your goals. You act on them. You don't defend your dreams. You protect them. You don't tell people your plans. You show them your results. Because silence is power and mystery is leverage. When people can't predict your next move, they can't interfere, distract, or discourage you. The loud ones crave validation. The quiet ones crave victory. It's not about hiding your success. It's about protecting your peace while you earn it. Every great creation started in the dark. Seeds grow underground, masterpieces begin in solitude, and revolutions start in silence. You must learn to love that darkness, to find comfort in isolation, to trust that even though no one sees your progress, you're still moving. The world often confuses visibility with value, but the real value lies in preparation. When you build in silence, you remove pressure and allow yourself to make mistakes, to fail privately, to grow quietly without judgment. It's in those unseen seasons that you sharpen your tools and develop your strength. Then, when the time is right, your success will speak so loudly that words won't be needed. People will wonder how you did it, but they'll never understand the sacrifices, the discipline, and the hours you poured into it when no one was watching. Silence gives you freedom, the freedom to evolve without interference, the freedom to experiment without ridicule, and the freedom to focus without noise. Most people fail not because they lack talent, but because they talk too much and act too little. They leak their vision through words instead of fueling it through work. Don't tell people your next move, let them feel it. Let your results be your announcement. Every time you open your mouth to explain, you open a door for doubt to enter. Protect your plans like they're sacred, because they are. Your dreams are not meant for everyone's understanding. Some will doubt them, others will envy them, and many will try to copy them. That's why silence is your shield. When you move in silence, you control the narrative. You decide when to reveal and when to retreat. You no longer chase approval because you've learned that validation from others is the cheapest form of success. True confidence is quiet because it doesn't need confirmation. The people who talk the least often achieve the most because they spend their energy creating instead of convincing. So build when no one's looking, grind when no one believes, and stay patient when no one claps. Your time will come, not because you shouted the loudest, but because you stayed consistent the longest. When your breakthrough arrives, it will be undeniable. And when it happens, you won't even need to explain. Your work will tell your story. The results will echo what your silence built. Let others talk about what they're going to do. You focus on becoming it. Let them announce, you execute. Let them post, you progress. And when it's time to reveal what you've built in silence, let the world witness it. Not with noise, but with awe. Because real power doesn't brag. It arrives quietly, changes everything, and leaves the crowd speechless. GTR 15. In the end, it all comes down to one thing: you versus you. Every battle you've faced, every night you've doubted yourself, every time you've been tired, broke, or alone was preparing you for this moment, the final push. This is where most people quit. This is where dreams die quietly because the pain becomes heavier than the promise. But this is also where warriors are born, where legends rise, and where the ones who refuse to surrender separate themselves from the rest. The final push isn't glamorous. It's exhausting, painful, and brutally lonely. It's the stage where no one's cheering, no one's calling, and no one's checking on you, but you keep going anyway. You've come too far to turn back now. The same fire that carried you through your struggles is still burning, even if it feels like just a flicker. You have to protect that flame. You have to remind yourself why you started, why you suffered, and why you refused to give up when everything told you to stop. Winning alone means understanding that your strength was never meant to be validated by others. It was meant to be discovered by you. When you reach this stage, you begin to see how every disappointment shaped your discipline, how every rejection redirected your focus, and how every heartbreak refined your hunger. You realize that loneliness wasn't a punishment. It was your training ground. It taught you how to depend on yourself, how to think clearly, how to move strategically, and how to rise without applause. This is the final push, and it's the hardest because it demands everything you've got: your patience, your endurance, your faith, and your fight. But if you can push through the exhaustion, past the doubts, beyond the pain, you'll discover something extraordinary, that you were never really alone. You'll realize that all along, your resilience was your companion, your discipline was your ally, and your faith was your foundation. You'll understand that everything you've endured wasn't meant to break you, but to build you into someone unstoppable. The final push is where you transform from a dreamer into a doer, from a fighter into a finisher. Most people never reach this point because they wait for conditions to be perfect, for motivation, support, or the right timing. But winners know that perfection is a lie. There's never a perfect moment to rise. There's only the moment you decide that quitting isn't an option. You keep going because you know that the pain of continuing is temporary, but the regret of quitting lasts forever. You've already faced the worst, the sleepless nights, the failures, the sacrifices, the loneliness. So what's left to fear? You've already survived what was designed to destroy you. That means you're already winning. The final push is not about speed, it's about stamina. It's about crawling forward when your body screams for rest and your mind whispers defeat. It's about believing when you have no proof and trusting that your effort is building something unseen. Because success doesn't come when you want it. It comes when you've earned it, when you've proven that you can handle it, and when you've shown that you won't fold under pressure. So take one more step. Breathe through the pain. Silence the voice that says it's too much. Remind yourself that this pain will pass, but the pride of finishing will stay with you forever. When you cross that invisible line between "I can't" and "I did," you'll realize it was never about the finish line. It was about the person you became while chasing it. You'll see that you didn't just survive being broke and tired. You thrived through it. You built something that no one can take away. Mental toughness, emotional strength, and unshakable confidence. And when you finally win, when the world finally sees what you've been building in silence, you won't need to explain, brag, or prove anything. Your journey will speak for itself. You'll stand there, not with pride that screams, but with peace that whispers, "I did it." Because you did it alone, you did it broke, you did it tired, and now you did it forever.